Hello, my name is Joy Knott, and I am president of the Canadian Association of Importers and Exporters. Welcome to I.E.Canada's first ever video podcast. The subject of today's podcast is a member consultation given the fact that the Port of Vancouver wishes to build a new customs examination facility, and they're seeking feedback from key stakeholders such as the Canadian Association of Importers and Exporters. The Port of Vancouver is Canada's largest port and the third largest tonnage port in North America. Offering 27 major marine cargo terminals and 3 Class 1 railroads, the port provides a full range of facilities and services to the international shipping community. The most diversified port in North America, the Port of Vancouver operates across 5 key business sectors: automobiles, break bulk, containers, and cruise lines. The Port of Vancouver is seeking feedback with container shipping lines, cargo owners, and key industry associations such as I.E.Canada regarding a mechanism to recover its cost in a new container examination facility, which I will now refer to as a CEF, planned for a location near Roberts Banks on the Twassons First Nation land. The new container examination facility will augment the existing facility in Burnaby and will initiate the new CBSA marine container examination process, focusing on scanning technology and less on manual inspections. It's currently proposed that any cost recovery mechanism would become effective when the facility opens, which is anticipated for Q1 of 2018. However, subject to the input from stakeholders such as I.E.Canada members, the Port of Vancouver could implement the recovery mechanism earlier if that's what we tell them we prefer. The Port of Vancouver will also lead the selection process for the CEF building operator. The port is interested in obtaining feedback from stakeholders on this topic. In addition to the ongoing responsibilities of maintaining the building, the operator of the CEF will need to provide all necessary services to the CBSA, such as transportation of containers to and from the terminal, as well as stripping and stuffing the containers. There's a timeline associated with all of these activities. Consultations began with stakeholders last month in September of 2016 and are continuing through this month, October 2016. But at the same time, the actual construction of the facility has begun. By Q2 of 2017, they expect to have a consideration memo in place. They expect by a year from now, October of 2017, for the shell of the building to be complete, and by Q1 of 2018 for the building to be completely finished and for this new CEF to actually open. The new CEF is felt that it's needed due to a volume increase that is predicted to come into the Port of Vancouver over the next few decades. In 2015, the Port of Vancouver handled more than 3 million 20-foot equivalent unit containers, which I will now refer to as TEUs. A container traffic forecast study prepared by the Ocean Shipping Consultants in 2016 for the port predicts that the port's container terminal will handle almost 4.8 million TEUs by 2025 and 7.5 million TEUs by 2050. The forecasted growth is based on the continued growth of trade with Asian markets, more locally sourced exports, and the port's ability to service distant intermodal markets in Canada and the US. So the Port of Vancouver's container terminals are currently serviced by one container examination facility located in Burnaby, which was built back in the 1980s and in a shared use facility. The facility has been expanded twice, but it just no longer meets the needs of its customers for efficiency, reliability, or service. In 2009, a study conducted by KPMG for the port, several issues were identified with the Burnaby container examination facility, including a long, up to 15 days back in 2008, and inconsistent turnaround time, making supply chain planning challenging. Following this report, CBSA and the port engaged KPMG in 2010 to examine the feasibility of establishing a new container examination facility that would address the issues with the existing facility, provide an opportunity to co-locate agencies involved in container inspections, and to contribute to strengthening the supply chain. The finalized report suggested 2 container examination facilities were needed to support the current and future demands of the port. The port and CBSA decided to move forward with a new container examination facility constructed with sufficient space for CBSA to expand based on demand. The new container examination facility will be located on the Tsawwassen First Nation land. The facility will be sufficient in size to allow CBSA operations to grow and meet future examination requirements as the container import volumes rise and to support Canada's requirement for border security. The total cost in the planning and the development of a new container examination facility is estimated to be $33 million. The Asia Pacific Gateway Transportation Infrastructure Fund will contribute $3 million to the project. The port has a mandate to be financially self-sufficient and plans to recover the net $30 million of cost being invested into the container examination facility. The structure of the recovery is the topic of this consultation. The following cost recovery options have been developed by the Port of Vancouver. The Port would like to gather input on the options discussed in the next few minutes, as well as the time frame of the cost recovery. They'd like to know if there's any other ideas out there for other options for cost recovery, and to receive feedback on a preferred cost recovery option. Option number 1, rent. This option involves the application of rent at above current market rates to the chosen building operator. The CEF is a special use building and is more expensive to design and construct. Therefore, current rent rates of a normal warehouse would not be enough to recover the total cost of building the CEF. The operator would levy a scan charge on all containers sent for on-site scanning. Containers requiring further inspection would have additional charges applied to them. These charges would be set and would be collected by the operator. With this model, shippers of selected containers, who are typically high-risk shippers, would pay for the construction and operating costs of the container examination facility. Shippers of low-risk freight would not subsidize high-risk shippers. Option number 2, a combination of rent plus a new TEU fee. This option involves a combination of the application of rent to the chosen operator at the current market rates, so not higher rates like option number 1, at current market rates, and a per TEU charge applied to all imports arriving at Roberts Bank container terminals. With this option, the operator will determine the charges for scanning and exams of the containers. Charges would likely be very similar to the current container examination facility in Burnaby, and the port would only have a role in setting the rent of the container examination facility and the per TEU fee. It would be up to the operator to determine the facility charges. With this option, all of laden import containers handled at Roberts Bank container terminals pay for a portion of the CEF's operating costs, with the shippers of high-risk freight paying a greater proportion. One observation that I made when looking at all of this is that the way it's currently structured, only import containers would be assessed a per TEU fee. There's no mention in any of the documents that I've read about export containers being charged a TEU fee. Option number 3, a per TEU fee. With this option, all laden import containers handled at Roberts Bank container terminals will pay a per TEU charge, which will be used to fund the construction and operating costs of the facility. So that one's pretty straightforward. The port commits to have an annual fee review as part of its process, and any costs might be adjusted and updated based on updated cost levels and other market conditions at the time of their review. Ultimately, we need to hear from you. I.E.Canada has put together a Survey Monkey link, which we will be distributing to our members. We will be posting this in IE today, and we are looking for your feedback no later than the 25th of October at the end of business day. We apologize for not giving you a longer window of time in which to respond to this consultation, but unfortunately this is the window of time that was given to us by the Port of Vancouver. So we really are hoping that as many of you as possible who have containers coming into the Port of Vancouver respond to this survey. The survey is 8 questions long. We estimate it'll take you between 10 and 20 minutes, depending on how much feedback you want to give us, to respond to the 8 questions. And we really look forward from hearing from you. That is the true value of membership. Thank you, and if anyone has any questions, again, my name is Joy Knott. I'm the president of the Canadian Association of Importers and Exporters, and to I.E.Canada members and others, I'm always happy to help. Thanks, and I look forward to receiving your feedback and reading your comments.